Only thing I can say that was really hard to talk to our team just now, because I think they fought. I think they competed. Did we play as well as we could have, as we can? No. We had too many penalties, too many mistakes at critical times, and didn't make the plays that we needed to make in critical situations. And to win those kind of games, you got to do that. And unfortunately, you know, kind of the difference between last year's team and this year's team. Last year's team, we made those plays. This year's team, we're not. And we've got to analyze why. And this is a process. Obviously, we're you know, one game left. We have Youngstown State at senior day. We are going to come back and fight. We've got to stay together as a team. We've got to keep going. And we got to send these seniors out on a positive note. Youngstown State's a very good football team, and we've got to be ready with everything we've got. But I just think we didn't make the plays that you need to make at the critical times. And had we made those plays, the game would not have gone into overtime. I'm not talking, I mean, we could talk about the ones at the end, but you could also talk about, you know, a lot of plays during the game. It wasn't, you can't say it was one particular play. It was several plays that we need to make, and we didn't make.
Seemed to get a lot harder to throw the ball as the game went along as far as protection was concerned. Matt was doing a lot of running for his life, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of two things, maybe three things. I think I would say it's a combination of three things. They blitz, okay? We handled the blitz at times. We didn't handle it at other times. I think we need to protect better than we did. And that's not just the offensive line, that includes the backs and the tight ends. And Matt, at times, I think when you say he was running for his life, there were times where he escaped when he didn't need to escape. He could have hung in there longer, and we had throws available. So it's all three. It's not one particular thing on every one of them. It would be a mixture of all three of those things.
Mike, can you talk about the last series of regulation? Got down to the point where you were pretty near Eric's field goal range, but some time ran off, and obviously the penalties hurt. Did you want the time to run down to the way it did? You had 2 timeouts at that point.
No, I wanted to. We had a, if I remember right, we had a negative play or whatever. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I wanted to either get right on the ball and go, or call timeout. And it was kind of an in-between situation. But ideally, I would have liked to have more time.
27-10 earlier in the third quarter, and it feels like, you know, at that stage of the game, you guys are in good shape. But how much did it hurt the confidence of the team, that long touchdown that Western answered with almost right away? You know, obviously from that point forward, it was difficult. Do you think? I think it affected us. You know, I think it's one of the things that we've, you know, we have become, as the season's gone on, because of injuries, we've become a young team. And one of the things we've been trying to learn and teach our guys is to fight back from adversity. And we had some situations earlier in the year where there's specific plays that you could say that one particular play like that affected us a lot, like in the Illinois State game, the long run. You know, so yes, we've got to be able to fight back from those things. Yes, that did affect us, but it can't affect us too much. We've got to fight back. Can you talk about, my feeling is that this season, from a more of an overall standpoint, because of the injuries, especially to guys like Connor and Mark Sewell and players like that, do you feel like this team was maybe robbed a little bit of its potential, for circumstances beyond anybody's control, but does it have that feeling, you know, especially you dealt with some offensive injuries this week as well? I mean, you don't want that feeling to creep in, but
yeah.
But does it feel that way a little bit?
I do feel that way somewhat. You know, my deal is not to ever make excuses and not to ever, you know, blame that, because our deal is it's the next man up, and whoever the next man up needs to be ready. And it's hard for me to look at this season now with another game left, because I don't want to look, you know, I mean, we've got a lot to play for next week, so I'd rather look at it after next week. But yes, there is somewhat of that feeling. I wouldn't know about the term robbed, but the fact remains, we had two of the best players in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. I think the best safety and the best pass rushing defensive end that basically didn't play this year. Played very little.
Anything else, guys?
Roland today, what was his injury and?
He got beat up in a lot of different ways. He had a hamstring at one point, and then he re-injured his ankle. That he had an ankle injury in practice last week, and he's an extremely tough guy, and he fought back from it and played in the game last week, and then re-injured that same ankle this week.
And that was the one that knocked him out for good down there.
Yes.
Going into the.
Yes. Yep.
Anything else?
Yes.
When Roland went down and you guys had to start using younger running backs, do you feel that having Lamonte Booker in that situation, especially when you guys are just kind of like trying to run down a little bit of time, do you think that would have helped a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, and I have great confidence in those young backs. I think they're going to be really good, but I do think that a veteran player, and I see Roland as a veteran player. I see Lamont Booker as a veteran player. A guy we forget about right now is Dimitri Taylor. Dimitri Taylor was a big contributor a year ago. He got an ACL surgery, and he would have been a veteran guy. Sorry for my voice. He would have been a veteran guy in that situation. So, yes, we would have loved to have had veteran guys. I think that would have made a difference, but it's the next man up, and we think those young backs are going to be good players, and we want them to step up and give them their opportunity.
The Harper thing today, was that is that the first time you brought him in for?
First time we've done that in games. It's interesting, he plays the opponent quarterback every week. When we do our, not necessarily scout team, because we have scout team, and then we also have what we call emphasis periods where we're all together and we use as good a players of the twos or whatever to go against our first offense and vice versa, first defense. And he's been the quarterback in that situation. And the sweep power read play, he's run so many of those this year, reading the opponents, and he does such a great job with it. We just said, hey, he's got a ton of reps in it in practice, so let's just use him and let him do it in the games, and he did a great job. And he's a special guy. He's a guy that walked on here. He's a presidential scholar. He's a special kid.
Anything else? Coach, thank you.